So middle school is about the time that you try to figure out what you're going to be so you can make that easy transition into high school. Whether you want to be like the athletic junkie, the nerd, or the popular kid. I try to be all three at the same time, and that does not really work. So on top of all this mess that we're trying to figure out while we're going through middle school, you also have to deal with your family. And I know each family has that one little crazy group of people in their family. Mine just happens to be my aunt, and she decided that she was going to put me in one of the biggest decisions of her life. She decided to name me as the godparent of my little cousin Conrad. Yeah. I'm 13 years old, I'm in 8th grade, I don't want to be a parent. So being the overdramatic preteen that I am, I started going through every scenario of how a social worker is going to come to school or come to my house or something and just deliver this baby to me because something happened to my aunt and uncle. So, I mean, I was scared at first, but then like whenever he came, I still didn't really know what to do with him. And like over the weekends, I would go to my grandmother's house, and he also lives down where my grandmother lives in Page, Texas. And it's a little countryside place. And I was in charge of babysitting on the weekends. And 13 years old, babysitting means there's an adult here and you just have to keep the kid busy while she does chores. So I didn't feel like that was a big responsibility that I had. But it was fun. I mean, we got along really well, and we would play in the mud, we'd go outside, eat popsicles. It's like every kid's little dream. And so we became best friends, but I still didn't feel like I knew what to do with him. On February 2nd, 2011, his little sister was born, Alyssa. And we call her Hurricane Alyssa because she will destroy everything in her path. Like, you see a clean living room, you turn around and Alyssa's right here, you look back and there's toys scattered everywhere. Like, she is the most destructive little kid you could ever meet at all. And so, whenever she was born, and we were in the hospital, like, I was the first one to hold her whenever we got there. I love babies. So I was sitting there in the chair, and I was like, I knew what to do. I knew how to hold her, and I knew how to feed her. I knew when to burp her. Like, I wanted to take her home. But apparently that's frowned upon you. You can't take babies from hospitals if they're not yours. So, I mean, I really wanted to take her home, but I knew I couldn't do that, so I kind of just had to wait till they left. But they couldn't leave because that was whenever we had a really big snowstorm too. So they were stuck in the hospital a couple days. So as time went on and I was babysitting Alyssa, I got to the point where I didn't need an adult with me. And Alyssa's the type of girl where I'm the only one allowed to put her to sleep on the weekends. So I kind of have to feed her a few times as well. So everybody already ate, and they were outside, and they were just conversing on the porch. And so I was feeding Alyssa, and this was whenever I was like 15, and she was just being introduced to solids. And all of a sudden, like, I was feeding her, and her face got really red, and like I saw that she couldn't breathe, and I was like, I just stuck my finger in her throat and got the food out. Like, the quickest and most calm reaction a 15-year-old can have when dealing with a baby. I don't know how I did it. But, I mean, I didn't feel the need to, like, freak out, go outside and tell somebody. I was just like, okay, keep eating. We gotta go to sleep. And another instant that I really want to focus on right now is we were at her second birthday, and this was back in February. I was 17 years old, as I am right now. It was her second birthday, and we were at the church in Page, and it's like the little white church on the hill. Like, you see it, and you look out, and it's nothing but green grass, the countryside. There's a big old pond of water. You see the trees in the background, and there's a couple of trees around it and a couple of grass. You have like this really old swing set, and there's nothing but like dirt and rocks as the path to drive on and stuff like that. And we have a little fellowship hall here, a walkway, and a bigger one here, and a pavilion that goes out this way. Well, we use the big pavilion for most events now because our congregation has grown so much. And so we were having her second birthday party in the big fellowship hall. And so the little kids were running around having a good old time. We had like the adults yakking over here. You had the older teenagers don't really care anymore. They're just chilling. And I see Alyssa, and she does this thing where she like backs up against something to try to hide. But you know you can't do that because what are you hiding from? Really? But she's 2. And so I see this happy little curly-haired, blue-eyed baby girl. She's just happy. She's like you just see her face go from happy to like in pain. And she's just moving her legs up and down like this. And I'm like, I get up and I start walking over to her. And all of a sudden I hear her mom in the most like mama bear growl you could ever hear in your life. It makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It's like, Alyssa, move! And I'm like, what is going on? So I go over to her and she's standing in a big old pile of ants. And so I pick her up and I take off her sandals and I'm like wiping all the ants off because like her and I, like we both have the same reaction that whenever it comes to ants, like they swell up like this big. So I took her sandals off and I started wiping all the ants off, and I'm going inside to my mom and I see like her mom's still standing there like with this scared look on her face. And I'm like, whatever. I go inside to my mom and I'm like, put the treatment on, and she's like, okay. So as she's putting the last little dab onto her last ant bite, I feel a stinging pain in my legs. And I look down, and all the ants are on me because I was standing in the ant pile while I was trying to get all the ants off of her. So I run outside, and I'm like getting all these ants off of me. And then I'm walking back inside to my mom for her to give me my own treatment for these. And then I realized, like, I just saved a 2-year-old. I just saved this little girl's life, and I reacted to her pain faster than her own mom did. Thank you.